Welcome back. So what we have here, somebody was interested in buying the Monolith, and it's been about a year now. So this is the original one that I showed last year. Now, it has some issues, and I wasn't comfortable selling this one because it kept derailing on me personally, and it just made it not very enjoyable. You can see just how loose that is. But also, these pieces separate quite easily. And that's because the mechanism that holds those two together is deeper. And this part is fairly thin, and so when these things are allowed to separate a bit, it can easily lead to derailing. So while this turns really smoothly, it's too loose. So one thing that can happen is if it's not lined up, it's it can be nearly impossible to actually get a turn started because everything is trying to do its own thing. And if I played with this long enough, it would derail. And that would be no fun. So here's what I did. I have version 2 here. This did improve things. The difference is now with version 2, you can see there's a wide set of rails and a thin set of rails. And so it's like one set of rails is nested inside of another set. And that means that the pieces are both held in by this hook here and by another hook closer to the surface. And so that will keep these pieces from coming apart. Now the mistake here is the tolerances just weren't tight enough for this. It's too loose. You can see, you can see how this still has that same problem. It's fairly loose. So, okay, that's too bad. Version 3. This, if I shake it, it doesn't rattle much. If I try and wiggle this around, it's harder. But the important thing is, if I want to make a turn here, that still turns smoothly. Of course, with this many cuts, it does still need some careful alignment. If I want to turn this, nice and smooth. And I have not had the derailing issue. With any large rail puzzle, if any of you have played with an MF8 Master Pentultimate, it likes to derail. Larger rail puzzles, you have to get the tolerances really tight. And what I've found, so my copy of the Behemoth that doesn't have the cube cuts, it has some moderate level of like, I didn't line it up and it might derail a bit. But it's still very much like I can sit down and play with it. I'll sit down and play with it. It's still scrambled. Lord knows when that'll change. But it's playable. And I would put this on par with my copy of the Monolith with, it just turns when you want it to turn. A little bit of alignment, like, okay, you gotta make sure it's aligned, but it works. And derailment has not been something that has slowed me down when I'm playing around with it. Let's just do a little bit of a pattern. I say pattern. One of those algorithms that brings it back to shape. We have stuff like this. Hopefully, I don't forget how to return it back to its shape. Let's stop there. I could make that final turn, but I would easily get lost. This, I'm very happy with it. It turns very well, and again, the derailing is minor. I mean, it's It's hard to 100% avoid on a rail puzzle this complicated, but this has some pretty tight movement. It doesn't, you know, let me shake this. Okay, comparison. You can just hear the difference, and trying to move parts around it, it's like water in a bag almost. So this worked, but I just wasn't happy with it. So third time's a charm. The Monolith. Yeah, puzzle orders, if you reach out to me, I will make a puzzle for you. Honestly, that's as much as I have time to keep up with. So I'll just make that as an announcement here. If you really want to buy a puzzle, you can send me a message on Instagram, YouTube, Twisty Puzzles Forum, and we can work something out. It just takes a bit of time, especially, I prefer to polish all my puzzles before stickering, and it's time consuming, but it's very worth it. So yeah, version 3 of the Monolith. Hopefully I'll be shipping this out to a buyer soon. Cool. Oh, I should mention, this one exactly is not for sale because it's already accounted for. Somebody was interested in it and motivated me to make another one. So yeah, hope you guys like it. Take care.